Hey, you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So, I've been absent lately. I did make a video the other day. I was trying to do that, and anyway, it's just been hard for me to come out with content because of what I'm going through here at my home. I didn't want to make a video about it because um, you guys know how I have these people that don't like me, and they're always anything that happens negatively to me, they love they love it, and they take, joy in the suffering of me and my animals. And I didn't want to do it because I just figured, oh, I don't want to give them kind of things to make them happy with. But the reality is that, you guys deserve to know, because my whole channel is about what it's like being a breeder and things that can happen, and this is part of it. And unfortunately, people taking joy out of the suffering of my animals is I just unfortunately part of that. I already had one of them congratulate me on the loss of Belladonna's puppy and the fact that she had to be spayed. I guess they felt that congratulations was in order for that. So these are very sick people, and it's one thing to not like me. It's another thing to find happiness and joy in the suffering of animals, which is just an entirely separate thing. But my puppies contracted basically a virus from my vet where I got the ear cropping done at. They presented with a really bad cough, like a very, very deep cough, and it has gone to basically like a pneumonia. Pardon me. And so there's been some vomiting, some diarrhea, and unfortunately, that's just something that I'm having to kind of deal with. The first puppy that started with it was this one here. It was the little black female that I like so much. And I hospitalized her on Sunday. I sent a short clip of the puppy coughing to my vet on Saturday because they're open until noon, but I wasn't going to be able to make it in time before they closed. And he just said, he wasn't really concerned. He's like, just keep an eye on it. If it gets worse, bring her in on Monday. Well, by Saturday, I could tell that there was something really seriously wrong with her. And so I took her to my emergency vet, and they took her in, and because of her high fever, they hospitalized her. And so I didn't get her back until yesterday. I transferred her to my normal vet a day before, so I guess on Thursday, and then I picked her up on Friday. The rest of these puppies were hospitalized, I want to say, on Wednesday, and I've got them back now. Now, these are the ones that are doing better. They still have diarrhea, and there's still some vomiting. They're not necessarily wanting to eat, but anyway, but they are doing better than the ones that are at the vet right now. So I've just been trying to get them through this. Overall, I had to spend about $10,000 keeping these guys alive because they needed 24/7 care. And I've also been having to administer sub-Q fluids and anti-nausea medication and antibiotics. And so anyway, so my vet said that once they are no longer symptomatic, so within 7 days of them eating on their own, then they can go home. So it's not, it's not a huge thing. It's not like one of those, horrible things that they can get that, is going to affect them long term or anything like that. They're just very sick. And because of that, I've decided that from now on, I'm not going to offer ear cropping anymore. That's not to say that I'm against ear cropping. I'm not, but I will not be taking my puppies because these puppies, they had received a 6 weeks vaccination, but they had only received it within, a couple days of even going to the vet. And that's not enough time to develop any type of immunity. And honestly, there's no telling if we don't know exactly what they got. You know, we did some testing, but we don't know exactly what it was. It's not the known stuff that we normally have. And I will say that my normal vet, the one that's treating these guys, did say that she has seen a lot of viral activity in dogs, like from all over. She said it's just going around right now really big. And she said specifically for her it's really crazy because normally when they see viral activity it isn't this time of the year, it's usually in the summertime. But nonetheless, it is here. And so I've managed to keep everybody alive so far between me and my vet. The other ones, I don't know how they're doing right now. The ones that are still at the vet, they kind of all went down at different times. So I think the first day was just the one, then we brought two more, and then we brought two more, and then the rest of them got sick. Well, all but two. And then so the next day we brought two more in. And so they've all been dealing with it differently, some worse than others. And so I've just been doing what I can. They're eating a very easy to digest food right now that I'm trying to get them to eat. They're not very fond of it. It's a vet prescription diet to kind of help their tummies, and they're getting lots of water. I'm giving lots of sub-Q fluids, trying to keep the antibiotics down and the anti-nausea medication down. But it has just been a lot of work. I've been having to take the food and take a quarter teaspoon and basically roll it up into little balls and then freeze those so that I can administer them to the puppies so that they'll actually eat it because they don't want to eat. So I've literally been sitting in my bed and for days now, and each puppy, we give them the medication, we give them sub-Q fluids, kind of try to make them happy, and then we put them back in the box and do the next one, and it has just been a nightmare. And so it's just one of those things where from now on, I've just decided that I will not do the 6-week ear crops anymore. My vet prefers to do them at 6 weeks. That's when he asks to do them. But for me, it's too risky at this point. And so I'm not going to do it anymore. And just to be on the safe side, because we don't know what this is. Maybe it's a new virus that's hitting dogs. We don't know. Viruses are always changing. And so because we don't know exactly what it was and how to, if I need to do any kind of decontamination or whatever, I did purchase a lot of very strong antiviral cleaners. And so we will be doing and we have been doing full decontamination. The rest of my dogs are all fine. And going forward, we're not going to be doing any breedings at my house for the next 6 months, just to be sure. Because from what I've researched, even the worst of viruses, which would be parvovirus, needs 6 months, 6 to 7 months. It dies off in your house at room temperature within, I think it's like 2 months. And I can link a study to that. There's a lot of misinformation about viruses online, unfortunately. So I will be only linking to actual studies. And like I said, that's the worst one, right? So I don't think it would be what they have, I don't think would be any worse than the worst virus that we know of, which would be parvovirus. So for those that have deposits on my litters, what we're doing is, and also for the female I have coming over from Serbia, because she was bred, is Reese in Virginia. You guys know Reese with Sprezzatura. She's going to whelp those litters for me. So that female will be coming in from Serbia to Reese's house. She's going to whelp the litter, and she'll send me my puppy whenever the puppy is fully vaccinated. Same thing with the puppy that she has right now at a preacher. She'll come over when she's fully vaccinated. And then Trinity will be sent over there to be bred with Achilles, since we had such great luck with the Blondie and Achilles breeding. And um, and so anyway, and she'll whelp that litter over there as well. Other than that, the only breedings that I have planned are the Blondie breeding and the Nirvana breeding, which are not going to be for 7 months from now. So they'll go into heat in 6 months, they'll be bred, and then 2 months after that, they will actually have their puppies. So we should be good, regardless. So it doesn't change the schedule or the timeline for anybody that has a deposit with me. You'll still get your puppy on time. Nothing's being held off except for the velocity breeding, but that had nothing to do with this. We didn't even know like what was going on at that time. So that was a totally separate issue. For everybody that has a puppy out of this litter, I already updated everybody whenever the first puppy got sick that it was going to be 2 weeks before puppies could go home. That may increase depending upon the rate of them kind of getting back on their feet. And I've let everybody know that before they leave my house, I will be taking them to my vet and having my vet do a health check on each individual puppy to be sure that that puppy is safe to go home and is healthy enough to go into their new homes. So everything is good in that regard. What I would say to everybody is be very, very careful with your puppies right now. There is something going around. We don't know if it's a new thing like COVID, where there's just a new virus going around hitting dogs. It's not, it's not something that we really know what it is yet. It does present itself as like kennel cough. And my vet really does think that it's basically like a viral form of like kennel cough / pneumonia, or like a pneumonia that presents as kennel cough. But it's very, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. It will kill your dogs if you're not on top of it. And, you need to take it very seriously. So if you have a puppy that comes off their food, or an older dog that comes off their food, and they're really lethargic and just kind of looking sad, I highly recommend that you take them to the vet. Maybe you wouldn't normally, but I highly recommend that you do. And that way we can figure out what this is. If this is a new strain of some type of virus, we need to know what it is, and we need to be dealing with it. And the more people that take their dogs to the vet, the more we're going to know what's going on. As it stands, I haven't lost any puppies yet. Everybody's good. All of my adult dogs, all of my, my 4-month-old dogs, everybody's doing well. And so it does seem to be, kind of a puppy thing. Maybe, I don't know all of the, I know that I only, as breeders, we know about parvo distemper, right? Because that's what everybody talks about. But I do know that when you look at a vaccination, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's listed on it. So, maybe the vaccinations are good for things like that. I do know that vaccinations are good for variations of stuff. So you might have a virus and then it kind of like morphs into something else, evolves into something else. But usually if it's close enough to the original virus, then the vaccination will work. The problem is that these puppies didn't have enough time from whenever they got their vaccination for it to actually work. The puppy that I brought in from Ohio, he got it as well, but not as bad. I vaccinated him myself. And so he's fine. He did have to be hospitalized for, I think, 2 days, but he's good. He's actually better than these guys. He bounced back a lot faster, but he was also older. And Mazikeen so far seems to be unaffected. She had much more time from the time that she was vaccinated until these guys did. But, it is what it is. So I've bought lots of cleaners. Luckily, my adult dogs don't have it. These puppies don't go to the bathroom outside, so my property should be safe. It shouldn't be in my yard. Regardless, we went ahead and we bought this stuff called accelerated hydrogen peroxide. I think it is something like that. And it has been shown to work in the face of organic material for viruses. Specifically, there was a study that was done with pigs. There's some kind of virus that can hit pigs. So I have all of everything to deal with this, but it's just really sucks. And it cost me an absolute fortune. And it was just a bad timing because I've got that female coming in from Serbia and that I have to pay for. And then I also have that male, that stud that I had talked to you guys about. So I'm not asking for donations. I want to be clear on that. I've already, I had some pretty good savings. And so I did what's called taking out a secured loan. So basically I gave my bank $10,000. They gave me $10,000 at a low interest rate, lower than a credit card. That way, I could, basically pay this off without really, kind of screwing myself over. If you, do want to help out, it would be greatly appreciated. Once again, I'm not asking for donations, as people always claim that I am. I'm simply stating that if you would like to help, it would be helpful. It would be much appreciated. And, and I have my stuff in my description as to where you could donate that would help. PayPal takes the most money out. My Venmo is probably the easiest way. If you do send it PayPal and you send it friends and family, then they don't take anything out. But like I said, I'm not asking for anything. I've already got it taken care of. This is fully financially paid for at this time. But if I know that there are people that always ask if they can help. And so, that is there if you would like to help. But it just goes to show that, it's a lot of people. I talk about this all the time when something like this happens. A lot of people want to be breeders and this and that. And a lot of people think that being a breeder is just this money-making thing and you make money off the backs of your dogs and you have all this time and it's just so easy. And it's not. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you get a break. A lot of times it's not. And this has been the hardest litter that I have ever had. And I think it's part of the process. I've talked to my mentors. They've dealt with stuff like this. One of my mentors thought it was parvo at first, but we've tested and it was negative. But he has had it really bad. And, and he's moved on from it. You know what I mean? It's just part and parcel of having live animals. In fact, I'm sitting here watching Dr. Pole and it's just like, it just happens when you have animals and you're breeding animals. These kinds of things happen, especially whenever you take them where other people take their animals. And I think the biggest mistake that I made, and I always try to recognize where I've made a mistake, that way I can avoid making that mistake again, is that I took them to a very high volume vet for ear cropping. And that vet sees a lot of clients that, there's just dogs from all over. People come from all over, hours and hours away, states away for this. So there's just a very high level of traffic, and that increases the odds of issues. And so for me, from now on, any puppy that I sell, I will not offer ear cropping on. If I will take my puppies to get it done when they are older, but not when they're young like this anymore. I'm not taking my pups anywhere until they're fully vaccinated. So, that's where I've been. Like I said, it's a hard video to make because I think that breeders always like to present this like facade that everything's great, everything's perfect, everything's wonderful. We don't make any mistakes. We don't have any problems. Nothing goes wrong here. And I really was thinking about it and I was like, should I do this? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I not? And I'm just sitting here struggling with this. And I was like, you know what? Like, the worst thing for me is struggling in silence, struggling alone. And there are a lot of other breeders that watch my channel and a lot of people that want to be breeders. And I know that my mentors, their ability to be honest with me about stuff and helping me in this and that has gone a long way. And I feel like I have a channel where I've tried to create an environment where everyone can be honest and can learn. And so as hard as it is for me, because obviously There will be blowback. There will be people that will relish in the fact that I've had a litter of sick puppies, and they'll try to use it as a way of saying that I'm horrible and I'm bad and I'm this, and they'll make up reasons as to why it happened and yada yada yada. I have to consider the good that can come of it. And, you know, and the good is that maybe other people can learn from my mistake, and other people can know that it's better to ask for help, to reach out and ask for help, than it is to suffer in silence. Um, that is what I could say to this. And, you know, and also to caution you as a breeder, you know, I always thought, heck, you needed to have the money set aside for a cesarean. Well, guess what? You also need to have the money to hospitalize an entire litter of puppies if you need to. Because if I hadn't, I probably would have a litter of 13 dead puppies. And for me, I can't do that. Like emotionally, I would not be able to handle that. That would be very, very, very hard for me. And I know that it's always possible that that could happen. You know what I mean? There are situations in which that kind of stuff can happen. And I know that, which is why I didn't show my own dog. I told you guys about that there's a very horrible form um, of kennel cough that can actually cause like a hepatitis type thing, I guess. Or herpes, I think is what it is. Something like that. There's it, and it'll kill. It's not even treatable. The animals die. They just die. They can't be treated. So I'm lucky that I even got something that can be treated. Um, so anyway, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys what's going on and just be honest. It's been very, 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 very hard for me, both from a business standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, doing everything I can to keep these guys alive. I think we're going to. I don't know about the ones at the vet right now. I haven't heard anything back, and I'm hoping that everything's going to be okay. But I just figured that I would let you guys know. And anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk at y'all later. Bye.